From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible news about your forced stimulus checks updates of 2021. In this forced stimulus check update tonight, we'll go over that incredible recon and a vote. A vote is now set by Leader Schumer. He says that the vote will happen in the Senate and the recon will become a law by Christmas. This is breaking news tonight on Evenings LA. The Senate changes that will go into that recon. We'll go over the latest details on that. We'll be going over the incredible provisions that are in this recon that'll pay you a fortune. At least $15,000, if not more. We're going to go over all these incredible provisions in this recon as the single biggest payday you've ever seen in the history of this channel, upwards of $50,000. We'll turn back to getting your bills paid today with third stimulus with a big money of upwards of $45,000 in recent months, but now viewers are getting at least $5,000 daily from this channel to pay their bills. I'll have all those incredible details in tonight's recording. Then we go to the exciting details of student loan debt forgiveness, the offer on the table from the Democrats. Will the Democrats take it? We'll be going to fifth stimulus and your questions answered on air. Plus, the debut of two new shows tonight. Yes, Calcino debuts tonight at 8 o'clock, but it's preceded with the encore performance of Holidays LA. What is Blaine 66 up to as well? Plus, a look at the new show coming to this channel in just a few days thereafter. It's about the metaverse. Those details and more with a great new exciting broadcast tonight with a jaw-dropping details. You got to stay to the very end until you see my commentary about what Schumer has said. It's a big night with a vote now set for that recon that's going to pay a lot of checks across a lot of programs. The excitement starts right here, right now, as Evenings LA gets underway. Hey, good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful evening across the board. The recon has passed the House, is now in the Senate, but Chuck Schumer today says it will become a law by Christmas. Oh my goodness, what happened? I have all the incredible changes that go into that recon and what provisions are staying in there. This recon is the single biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel. You're going to get a lot from all these incredible programs, at least $15,000. Get your pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how to get this money. But you don't have to wait for forced stimulus to become a law because guess what? I'm getting viewers thousands of dollars every day. And today is your opportunity to get those thousands of dollars. Average viewers have gotten $5,000 from this channel. Those details coming up in this recording. We'll turn to student loan debt forgiveness, the latest on that, and plus the details about fifth stimulus. You'll get a debut, a snippet of the new show Calcino. You're going to see a trailer of it coming up you have never seen before, and you will see where Blaine 66 is now working. Plus, we'll take a little preview at that new show coming to this channel called Metaverse. Those details and more coming up late in this video. I'm excited you're here, so make sure you subscribe. I want you to go down this video right now and hit that subscribe button. Be part of this incredible family so you do not miss a single video or details until it goes live. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so you get that incredible newsletter tonight that shows you how to get fortunes under third stimulus. Meantime, sign up for those LA alerts so you do as well. Get the alert when anything comes out. That LA alerts is in the video's description. It's totally free. Let's go into the breaking news tonight across the board, which is the House has sent that recon to the Senate, and now we have a date of when they're calling the vote and how they're calling the vote. Let's go over first these incredible checks so you know what they are. And this is the single biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel, at least $15,000, but I think it's upwards of $50,000 to $60,000 for many viewers as well. And what are those checks? Here we go. Cluster number one got in there, hazard pay, and they're going to the finish line. For my essential workers, one more year. $4,000 of elder care to the finish line for one more year. $4,000 of care for young children. They got in there the CTC, the child tax credit for the young children, $3,600 for one more year approximately. They got the Pell Grant, $550 checks one time. Wow, that's incredible. And then they got the home repairs if you live in a low-income community, totally free. Finally, they got the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle in there as well. And there you go. That is just the first of 3 clusters with 3 add-ons, and we're going into the first add-on starting right now. It comes from the illustrious Maxine Waters here in Southern California. And this is free money to buy your first home. They got it in there, and she wanted it at $25,000. It's a little bit less. How do you get this incredible money? I'm going to show you in just a second. Let's go to the second cluster of checks. Here we go. Home repairs and paid leave. Wow, they got them in there. Paid leave, childcare, household tax credit, pre-kindergarten, and money to weatherize your home. You need to weatherize your home. You need to weatherize your workplace. You need to weatherize everything. And in tonight's show, Calcino debuts at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in the normal slot like Sirloin, and you're going to meet Blaine 66. You're going to see where he works and whether his new workplace needs to be weatherized as well. Oh boy, I don't know what to think. Let's go to the second add-on. It actually comes from the illustrious Bob Casey. And he wanted $250 billion for this provision. He got a little bit less. What is it? It is free health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Wow. How do you get it? Stay with me. It's coming up later in this video. Third cluster got in there. And that third cluster checks is a lot. Seniors and free internet. My goodness. Here we go. The deliciousness. They got in this third cluster, cheaper prescription medication, immigration reform, tax breaks. They also got in there money for free internet, the farmers, the independent contractors, and then the workers. The workers got the seniors. The seniors got 2 provisions in there from the House, which are the Medicaid gap fix for Medicare and the hearing for Medicare. But on the Senate side, the senators vow to add 3 more provisions, and they are dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare. You're going to see more about this later in this video because this is part of my commentary tonight. You want to see at the very end because that commentary at the end of this video is something you do not want to miss. But what's at issue here? What's at issue here is that's consistent with the House versus Senate. The senators have vowed since the month of May to put at least 1 or more IRS checks in there, what we call on this channel an MSC, or multiple IRS stimulus check. And what happened was that starting in the month of May, we started advocating for it. Thousands, millions of viewers made the phone call. Over 5 million phone calls made to Congress. The biggest place of advocacy in the United States is this channel. But when the legislation landed in the Senate about 2 weeks ago, I said pick up the phone and re-advocate to them because they need to hear from you again. And boy, have you done well. The advocacy involved those 6 senators, and one after another of you picked up the phone and spoke to their staffers in D.C. and were told after you advocated, yes, it's going in. It started first with Janet on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, speaking to Chuck Schumer's office and being told, yes, it's going to go in there via Bernie Sanders. Then it continued with Lynn Glenn last Wednesday, speaking to Chris Coons' office and being told, yes, it's going in there. It continued with Bonnie, who spoke to Liz Warren's office that Thursday and was being told it's going in there as well. It continued this last Monday with Donnie and Donnie's wife, Sharon, picking up the phone and calling to Ron Wyden's office and being told it's going to go in there. And it continued with Tyrell last Friday and being told it's going to go in there as well. What's important to understand is you need to advocate across the board, and that advocacy starts right here. And that advocacy involves telling your unique story of why you need it. Do not use the word MSC because they don't know those words. That's a channel-specific words you hear on this channel. But you need to pick up the phone and advocate to them. And the chief of staff to the number 1 legislator says, advocate until we're over the finish line. Here's what the message says. They now have in total between congressional and senators' offices received more contacts of advocacy from the LALATE Purple Power than anywhere else in the United States. Now they have a better understanding of what Americans are going through. They have heartbreaking stories and the voice of the people across the nation, you LA, as you have become too loud to be ignored. Very kind. Please continue your continued encouragement for the people to continue to advocate until this becomes law because you are the professional voice of the people. Very, very kind. Let's look at those 6 senators you want to advocate to. They are Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Pick up the phone and speak to their staffers. That's the best way. Next best way is leaving a voice message. Some viewer on Twitter just a few minutes ago sent me a message saying, I called, I got through, but I only got voice messages in 2, so I left 2 voice messages. But I did get to Sanders' office, the viewer said, and they said it's still going in there. That was just minutes ago before this recording. Again, Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. I have a lot to talk about later in the final commentary at the very end of the video, so stay with me about this subject matter. But I also want you to advocate for your wallet, and that involves getting your bills paid today. Because you got bills to be paid, And guess what? I want you to get your bills paid with third stimulus. In the second half of this video, I'm going to show you how you can get thousands of dollars. The average viewer has gotten $5,000 in the last 7 days for third stimulus to pay your bills. It's coming up in the second half of this video, which is a jam-packed recording tonight, folks. A lot's going on. We'll be turning that student loan debt forgiveness, which will go by executive order. We'll be going to fifth stimulus and the latest details about that. Then we'll be turning to the big programs that are in this recon that'll pay you a lot of money. We'll be going over what happened with Omicron today, what's happening with the Federal Reserve on December 15th. It's a critical date that you must know what's going on. Plus, we get a preview you've never seen before of Blaine 666. Oh my goodness. And the latest details about that new show coming to this channel about the metaverse. Those details and more as we go into a big second half of this video. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as a big Evenings LA continues. But first, here's a little bit about the community page and what you need to know about getting those sums of money.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now as we go into a big second half of Evenings LA. Boy, is it a big night across the board. We'll go over the incredible details of that recon that Chuck Schumer says will pass and become law by Christmas. My goodness. We'll go over those incredible Senate changes that are going to that incredible recon, the latest on that. We'll be turning to the exciting details of the provisions that the senators vow to add, the latest details on that, and the programs that will pay you a lot of money. We'll be turning to the big money of third stimulus and the availability of that money across the board, student loan debt forgiveness, the latest on that, and plus the fifth stimulus. Those details, I want you to be part of this incredible family. We have a big second half of this recording, so make sure you go into this video right now and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right now. I want you part of this incredible family. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Meantime, if you haven't signed up for those LA alerts, please do so. And here we go with the big second half, starting right now. It is a huge day with a lot of breaking news, and I'm going to go over first what happened with Leader Schumer. The first thing that happened with Leader Schumer was he issued a letter. And the letter was to his fellow Democrats saying, get ready for the vote. So let me go over what the letter talks about and what it doesn't talk about. So what it says is that, one, he wants the vote on the reconciliation, forced stimulus reconciliation, happen in the Senate, and the entire body of legislation to become a law by Christmas. That's what he says in the letter. Now let's stop for a second. For that to become a law, you have to pass the Senate. And if there's any changes to the recon, which he already says there will be, because there's technical changes, then it goes back to the House. Then they vote, and then the president signs it. Now, let's look at the calendar. What's important to understand is that you need 1 day of Senate vote, and then you need 2 days of vote-a-rama, and you need at least 1 day for the House to vote as well. So that's 4 days. When is he looking to do this? He's looking to do this vote the week of Christmas. I think that's really tight. I'll go over more about this later in this video. Now, what did he also talk about in the letter? He said, I want my subcommittees in the Senate to get their final text of the legislation to me this week, which we're in right now, and the following week, so we're done. And he has been talking to the Senate parliamentarian since last July, and the talking has been continuing all this week. So he wants that body of legislation, the Senate parliamentarian, finished so she can rule on it potentially no later than next week. Now, let me explain her for a second. She's a nonpartisan individual. She looks at the Senate and the rules of the Senate. She looks at the provisions, says what goes in and what must come out. She's not getting this legislation for the first time this week or next week. She's had it since July. She's just getting the final version of it, the final draft, by the end of next week, which is when she's going to rule. Now, what is the reaction to Chuck Schumer's statements? There's a lot of them. There's really basically 3 cluster comments before I read them. The first cluster says, the best way to deal with a situation is just to call the vote. We've been sitting by the sideline too long guessing how people are going to vote. Are they going to guess in favor? Are they going to vote against? And they're talking about Democrats. Remember, you only need Democrats to pass a recall. So they say it's best just to call the vote and get it done with. I agree 100% with that. If there's one thing I've been teaching on this channel since day one, or at least since day one of 2021, is that Joe Manchin often says he's going to vote against something, and he votes in favor of it with the fellow Democrats. We saw that last week, all week on this channel, when I told you he was set to vote against a provision for the debt ceiling limit extension to February, and he voted with the fellow Democrats, and he did not vote with the Republicans. So he does this all the time. Number 2, the second camp that are in the quote says, if we call the vote and it fails, then what? Yeah, if the recon fails, it means we all go home with nothing. There is no recon. It's dead. The third camp says that you have key deadlines, and those key deadlines are the following. And this is something I talked about yesterday, but I want to talk about a little bit more specifically today. Several provisions in the third stimulus, that is law, are expiring in a few days. I said December, but the real effective date is January 15th, says Tim Kaine in a new quote today, Senator Tim Kaine. He says you don't want those provisions to expire and then have a new fourth stimulus recon coming behind to reinstitute them. No, you want to renew them. And to renew them, you can't wait to January. You can't even wait to late December. You got to get this substantially done ahead of time before they expire. If only they had said that when they were doing FPC retro. So let's look at some of those incredible quotes right today. First, again, here is the Chuck Schumer letter. It came out, and it's to his colleagues. Let's look at the reaction. And you'll see how each of those reactions fall in the 3 camps. First, we have Mazie Hirono, Democratic senator out of Hawaii. She says, let's put a vote to it and see where people are going to stand. So that's the let's vote on it and see what's going on. We have Majority Whip Dick Durbin says, my experience is that you need to call the vote to see where people stand. There's that same quote. You have Chuck Schumer says, my goal is for the Senate to pass the legislation before Christmas and get it to the president's desk. So that is saying he wants a law by Christmas. A similar series of quotes came from John Tester, says, this is camp number 2, which is, do we want it to fail? He says, what happens if it goes down? I mean, it fails. We walk away and say we tried. That doesn't really work. And then we have Tim Kaine says, there's nothing magic about this, but you need to do this substantially in advance of January 15th to ensure that we do not see a pause on any of the benefits from third stimulus. I have more about this later in this video, but let's go into the incredible provisions of this recon, because guess what? This recon is a huge payday. And what you're seeing for the first time very solidified tonight, and was first indicated last night's shows, is that the provisions that are in fourth stimulus that were passed by the House are really all staying in there at the moment. The only provisions that may get removed would be removed by the Senate parliamentarian. So no fellow Democrat is removing any of these provisions I'm teaching you so far. And the only person that may remove them would be the parliamentarian. And yeah, the graphic says 15,000, but you're going to clean up under this fourth stimulus recon. You like 15,000, don't you? Well, get ready to potentially get $40,000 or $50,000 from this fourth stimulus recon starting right now. Let's go over the first provision they got in there. Paid leave. This is a lot of money. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. If you make $35,000 annual salary, that would be $800 a week. If you make $15,000 annual salary, it'd be $400 a week. How many weeks? Up to 4 weeks per year. Yes, this is incredible. It's about $5,000 to $6,000 on the high end. If you do not work, don't worry, because if you live with your son or daughter and they take off from work once a week to take you to the doctor, that's how they're going to get paid for the household. Then they got in the next great provision, which is the SALT cap, raising it up to $72,500 from where it is now, $10,000. This is the amount you can deduct on the federal tax return of what you pay in state and local taxes. It's incredible. The next great provision they got in there is $40 billion of free job training to take a new job. And you want that because millions of Americans want to take a higher paying job in this economy. Then one of the best provisions in there that I get a question about all the time on private messaging is the cheaper medical insurance. They got it in there. The Democrats got a workaround plan in there. They'll provide a cheaper insurance to people in subsidized private insurance to low-income uninsured people in those 12 Republican states that have not paid for Obamacare. And then we go to the best provision of this entire recon. The best huge provision of this entire recon, which is housing. Housing is where you're going to clean up with a lot of checks because there's 6 provisions. The first 3 are new. Home repairs, weatherizing your home, and first-time home purchases. That's coming up in a second. But the other 3 provisions are a repeat from third stimulus. And the great news is you don't have to wait for this bill, for stimulus, to become law. You can get it today with third stimulus. And we're going to turn to how to get those incredible sums of money starting right now. So here you go. It's just incredible. Let's step back to December 2020. A year ago, we were sitting on this channel. I said, I got a preview of this new pending legislation for next year called third stimulus. It was exclusive. And I showed you what was proposed in third stimulus. I said, I can get you about $15,000 from it. There is a $1,400 stimulus check, but I think I can get you at least $15,000. When it became law, there certainly was a $1,400 single check in there. But I said, don't focus on the check, $1,400. I think I can get you $15,000. There's a lot big difference. There's an entire zero behind it. It's 10 times the amount of money. And guess what? Average view of this channel at the time got $45,000 from third stimulus. 2 weeks ago, I saw an issue. People need their bills paid. It's the holiday season. And I said, I'm bringing back third stimulus to this channel. I said 2 things. First, if you got it before, you can get another round. Most viewers did not know that. And then a lot of people that had never watched this channel before, had just become new viewers, did not know that if you hadn't gotten this money before, you could still get it. They thought it was run out of money. Well, you have done incredibly well. And not a day goes by, not an hour goes by without another message that comes in with a viewer that got money. And the viewers are averaging about $5,000 to $6,000 in the last 7 days. You're doing it great. First, you're getting about $5,000 to $6,000. 1. 2, you're getting multiple sums of money. Number 3, you're following exactly what I'm saying. And if you have a private message, if you have a big success story, send to me on private message as well. Let's start with today's new success stories. Amy says, I got a round of rent and also rent for 3 more months on top of the existing 3 months. And then Tonya Faltry, who's helped by Amber, got incredible sums of money. Your demeanor is always pleasant, positive, and witty. And it's a pile of hope for the American people. I appreciate that. She got a pile of money. It's just so much for the add up on camera. I think it's like, it looks like 6,000, but it's just so much money. We had Thorn Dave on the Holidays LALATE show yesterday. He got 4 more months of rent. We had Deborah, who got 6 more months of rent at $4,000. Thank you, Alice. She says, thank you, Alice. Love you back. Then we had Chef John Mayer, who is new today, who got $2,500 of extra SNAP. That's new SNAP. Then he says that he's still working on utilities. Good. He says, you're awesome. Love you back, Chef John Mayer. Then the day before that, Lynn Glenn got another round of rent, and she says, I'm never going to stop watching you. Love you. Love you back, Lynn Glenn. That same day as Lynn, there were more success stories that came in. Robin got 1, 2, 3 rounds from one utilities, and then another 3 rounds from another utilities. She says, you're an angel disguise. I love that. Thank you so much, Robin. D. Miller says, I just got approved for 4 more months of rent, about $2,800. The average number the viewers are getting is about 4 to 6 months of rent. Here came Madonna. She got 1, 2, 3 rounds of rent in just the last few days. Incredible. We had Kathy Cheney, and she said, "You're a godsend." I appreciate that, Kathy. She got a second round of rent and utilities, and now her number is about 6,000, right on the money, like most other viewers. Great job, May Lou. She got about $6,000. I appreciate you so much. You're the best. Appreciate that, May Lou. Thank you so much. Look at that $6,000 you can have during the holiday season. Great. Morel got 6 more rents, then 2 more months, and then more money on top of that. I love her. And there comes Jay Graham. Says, I speak for all of us. We love you, Perfect Power. I love you back, Jay Graham. He got about $5,000. There's Scarpy, who got snapped. Melissa Justice got him high end. She got $10,000 this last week from 3 items. And I love Chris's story. Chris got $10,000 from third stimulus earlier this year. And he was watching the last few days. He said, I would have never known there's another round I can get. We just got another $5,000 for another round. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that too, Chris. So get that pen and paper ready. We're going to get you money right now. We're going to get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, food, and more. This is going to pay your bills. You're going to get this money right away. This is not something you're going to wait around 10 months for. This is to pay your bills on the holiday season, and you're going to really appreciate it. We were doing this last year. We're doing the same thing right now. Then it was second stimulus. Now it's third stimulus. So if you're a member of this channel, pull out the newsletter and follow along. If you're not, take notes, because we're going to go over everything that's in the newsletter starting right now. We're going to start with the rent, and the rent has gone up a lot. Let's look at the graphic for that rent about 3 months ago. At the time, it was $20,000 to $30,000. Where is it now? It's a lot more. It's about $40,000 across the board. Here was the graphic at the time, and this was about 3 months ago. Yeah, it has now gone to $40,000. One viewer got $38,000 for rent alone last week. If you're that viewer, send me a private message. I lost your name. Then another viewer reveals he got $138,000 from third stimulus this week. It's the single biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. How do you get this rent? 6 places. This is where you follow along in the newsletter or take notes if you're at home. 6 places: City Hall, City House Authority; County Hall, County House Authority; State Hall, and State Housing Authority. The keywords is you say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There are 3 musts you must do. Number 1, you must reach out to all 6 places. Number 2, you must get application on file everywhere. Number 3, you must get multiple rounds. So if you got 1 round early this year, get another round today. If you got a round yesterday, get another round with another organization today. Minutes ago, I just got a private message on social media from someone who said, I'm a member and I reached out to my county and they said they don't have it. I don't know what to do. If you're a member, you need to be reading that newsletter. It's been revamped. It's even clearer than before. 6 places, folks, not 1 place. 6 places. And then you got 5 nonprofits behind that to help you as well. Do the same thing for mortgage assistance. Here we go for utilities. Wow. Incredible. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities. It's going up. Reach out to all utility companies. Utility assistance because of COVID. That's what you say. Then, SNAP, food. If you got a third stimulus check, you should not be paying for your own food. Reach out to Department of Agriculture and get that money for food. How much does it pay? A lot. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year. Yeah, over 10 years. That is $250,000, $250,000. Next, combos. If you got 1 item, you should get 3. And you saw the success stories this week. Everyone's getting 2 to 3 items. That's how you do it. Here is Nisi and Art Sullivan. At the time, they were the first, the pioneers of this channel to get 3 items. I said, do what Art and Nisi did. And everyone has followed suit since then. Mark got 2 items of 32. I said, Mark was your third. He got his third. He brought him to 50,000. He got more. Now he's at over 100,000. Lorraine, she was at 105. Now she's at 120, which tees up Johnny as the best example of how you do this. Johnny's a 3-part story. And I want you to follow exactly how John did it for how you do it as well. He's following exactly my teachings on this channel. You know, the way I teach it with showing you the newsletter and showing you the examples is to say, this is how you do it. And for anyone who sends me a message say, I did it a different way, I don't know why it doesn't work, because you did it a different way. There's this way and the wrong way. So let's go over Johnny's incredible story. He started 1 week with $0, like 2 other viewers. And by the middle of the week, they each had 3 programs approved. Great. 3 days, 3 programs. How much? 45,000. Wow, great. Now, Johnny heard my recordings, which said, do not stop. He didn't stop. So by the end of the week, he got 7 programs approved. 7 programs approved in 5 days. Why do I like part 1 of the story? Because he made 15 phone calls. You're not going to have 100% yeses when you call. You're going to have 20 to 50% no's. Just accept it. But you could accept it because guess what? You could have some yeses. So he probably had 7 no's and he got 7 yeses as well. How much money did he get from those 15 phone calls? $80,000 in 5 days. That's how you rock and roll it. Then part 2 of his incredible stories followed the following Monday. He reached out to his family member saying, hey, I got $80,000 from that guy, LALATE, last week. Where'd you get it from, Johnny? Third stimulus. And you ever heard of this money in third stimulus? He says LA covers it. Broadcast media doesn't cover it. So he showed them, and they ended the week with, as believers, after they started as non-believers. Each of those 2 family members got $50,000. Part 3 of Johnny's incredible story is even better than that. And what is involved? It involves Johnny sending me a private message on social media 2 days ago. Actually, two Sundays ago. I was in a restaurant. I got a private message from Johnny via Instagram. He says, hey, LA, I have an update for you. And the update is I've been helping more people. People are coming over asking what I was doing. And I showed them your channel. I showed them LA. And I ended up helping 32 people. I said, Johnny, how much did you help them with 32 people? He says, $850,000. This is how you do it. This is how you do it on this channel. $850,000 he got with 32 people. You can do this as well. As Johnny showed these people, it's not covered on broadcast media. It's only covered here. This is the number 3 financial news channel in America, but the number 1 in geopolitical news, which is this. This is why you want to become a member. Go right on the video right now and hit that membership link to become a member, to get that incredible newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system at approximately 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In that newsletter is everything you need to know across the board. The newsletter features the 6 places you reach out to, the 5 nonprofits, the keywords you say, the 3 musts. It also features the statement from Treasury you want to read about before reaching out and getting that big money for rent. It's very important to become a member because these are the big success stories across the board that are happening daily. And with that, let's go back into that incredible recon, which we left off last in the housing provision. Let's go back in to look at those 3 new housing provisions first. Home repairs. Yes, this would be in for low-income community homes. Incredible across the board. They got weatherizing your home. That is for all types of homes. And then first-time home purchases. A lot of viewers are excited about this provision, like Lynn Glenn. This would be money given to the seller during the escrow for the purchase of your first home. It's incredible. Let's jump in the other provisions. $150 billion of in-home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. They got in there the $550 check for the Pell Grant. Incredible. And then they got the big money in there for the new electric car. $12,500. This is money that would be given to the dealer by the federal government at the time of purchase. So you would have the savings at the time of purchase. It is absolutely incredible. One of the parts of this provision where I detail in the last few days I don't like is that it discourages the purchase of vehicles that are made in Mexico by U.S. unionized labor. I think they have to fix that language, and I think that's a provision that maybe the Senate parliamentarian may be removing. They got in there $65 a month for child care credit for students when they're not in school for nutrition, which brings us to the best provision of this entire recon is the cheaper medication across the board. It's huge. That cheaper medication across the board is really a big issue. It's Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D. The most expensive medications like diabetes, arthritis, and cancer dramatically sliced from DICE, brought all the way down from about $1,000 a dose for insulin all the way down to $35 a dose, starting with 20 medications in day 1 and growing to 30 medications by the year 2028. They cannot increase more than the rate of inflation, or there's a penalty provision. Penalty provision? Excuse me? Can't do one, says Pat Toomey, the senator, Democrat individual. I think he's right. I think that's a provision that this Senate parliamentarian is set to remove. I'm going to detail her later in this video, but guess what? That's among the provisions she's likely to remove, along with immigration reform. She previously ruled cannot stay in that recon, and also is set to rule on the paid leave, which is a battleground, especially for Joe Manchin. Earlier in this video, we talked about those 3 provisions that Bernie wants to add in there for those Medicare expansion. There's a lot of senator provisions they want to add in there. And what's consistent messaging across the board is that with the new provisions going in there, you're going to see a lot of checks in this recon. Biggest payday you ever seen across the board. But what's important for you to do is you need to advocate, because guess what? Those senators say, it's the best bill since the 1960s, but has major gaps in there. So you need to pick up the phone and advocate with Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. You need to advocate for the inclusion of those items across the board to a recon that already has a lot of checks on top of those third stimulus checks, may bring you upwards of $50,000. Let's go over all the rest of these checks in this recon starting right now, and let's start with more about those checks that are continuations of third stimulus provisions. Very, very important. These are the provisions you don't want to expire, and they would signal that they would do this recon by Christmas based upon them. Earned income tax credit, that's expiring. Enhanced child tax credit, that's expiring. So these are all provisions for third. They want to continue for one more year. Childcare, that would be expiring. Universal pre-kindergarten, that's new. The Herring benefit, that is a covered check. And then the home health care. We already went over the Pell Grant, the nutrition, and also we went over the housing. What are those other provisions Bernie wants to add in there? I'm going to put them in my commentary later in this video. Stay with me. It's a big part of this video tonight. But let's turn now to, just for a blink of an eye, to student loan debt forgiveness. There's an offer on the table from the Democrats, for the Democrats, and they should take it. It's from the President of the United States to do $10,000 or more student loan debts. That Democrats should take it. Why? Because he already forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled, individuals who wanted to work in the public sector, and also the nonprofit sector. This would just be the latest offer. They can take more next year as well. COLA and FISTIMUS. Lots of questions. I'm going to answer them right now. They're two different bodies of legislation. COLA is already a law, and your benefits are going up 5.9% automatically January 1. Number one, it's everyone, 5.9%. Everyone's getting the same raise, 5.9%. Number two, it's automatic. You don't have to do anything. Number three, you didn't receive the letter, don't worry. It's too late. By now, most people have not received the letter. It doesn't mean anything. The letter's just a by the way. The by the way is watching the video. I'm telling you, by the way, your benefits are going up. Same thing as what the letter says. So you don't have to worry about not receiving the letter. I'm getting a lot of comments about Medicare and SNAP and COLA raise. I really don't know how to answer a lot of them. Some of them are wrong statements. Some of them are strange statements. And then some people, I think, are getting statements from certain agencies, and I think they're wrong. So don't believe that they're right either. It's just a very fluid situation. Needless to say, this is what we fought for, and FISTIMUS comes right behind this. FISTIMUS looks to say, hey, your benefits have not gone up enough over the last few years, so we don't want to raise them more. And you want higher benefits, don't you? Yeah, of course you do. So first they want to raise your benefits up a lifetime to bring you up to par. And then they want to apply a new benchmark every December. 2022 would be the first year with inflation as a new benchmark. It would be 2 to 3% every year inflation, because that's where we're going. And they want to remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's turn over to something that's really quite surprising right now, is the breaking details out of South Africa and also the White House about Omicron. It's new tonight. Omicron originally caused a stir on the Thanksgiving weekend, as the White House said, we don't have enough financial data. We need to buy some time. Okay, buy some time. And they announced a lockdown order to buy some time on travel restrictions. Well, the issue at the time was, how much time do you need to learn about the data? Well, last Sunday, Dr. Fauci appeared on Broadcast News and says, hey, the initial data from Omicron suggests not as severe as Delta, not as contagious as Delta, but it's just initial data. And here's what's getting really wacko, is that we initially were told a little bit of data is not sufficient. Well, that's all we still have, is just a little bit of data. Most of the sampling sizes are apparently from young adults. They're not from elder people. So we don't have the data. Now let's turn to Wall Street and why they are literally just all over the place. Wall Street had two events happen in the last 7 days. First, they had the Omicron news, and it went down, but not severe. Last Friday, it went down because of the economic data news that's coupled with the Federal Reserve coming on December 15th. Well, Fauci spoke on the weekend, and then Monday and today, Wall Street was up substantially. Enormous moves, best moves since March, because of Fauci's comments. We didn't down because of Omicron. We went down because of the Federal Reserve and the big economic data that came in last Friday. So it's a very, very muddled, to use a word I don't like, muddled situation where people don't know what they're doing and they forgot why they react to a situation. What I want you to know is what it is. Here is what's going on. very key date, December 15th. December 15th is a critical date. Why is it? It is the second and last economic event of this year. The next one is this Friday. It's the CPI number. But on December 15th, the Federal Reserve will meet and announce its new Fed policy for early next year. And based upon most analysts' reports and my reports as well, unless Omicron turns sour and gets bad, which it's not doing at the moment, the Federal Reserve is going to surprise Americans and have faster tapering and 2 interest rate hikes, maybe even 3, and earlier than initially thought, maybe as early as March or May, not late 2022 as initially thought, as 1 interest rate spike. Why? Because the economic data came in last Friday, was huge. It was out of the ballpark. It was astronomically great news. Low unemployment, great job labor participation, people coming back in the workforce, and lower salaries. So this is what the Federal Reserve was not looking for. They was looking for a slow growth. This is a rapid growth. And so the Federal Reserve is expected to announce that on the 15th. And with that, let me go into what's going on tonight with the vote with Chuck Schumer, my commentary, Bernie, Ron Wyden, and all that and more. And it's very, very important. It's probably the most important thing you're going to hear in this recording, and starts right now. I told you yesterday that the senators have a new leaf on life, and that is they don't want to trash talk each other in the press anymore. So if this was last month, you would hear Bernie on the press saying, I want this provision, and Joe Manchin better put it in there. And then Joe Manchin say, I hate Bernie's provision, and he better take it out. That was where we were looking at last month. I told you yesterday the new lookout on life among these senators is we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to keep it private amongst ourselves. Whatever we want to battle about, we're going to say it in private, in subcommittee, and we're not going to have this war of words outside. I told you yesterday that we're not going to hear big updates from these people until the 11th hour. So that is very much the case today, and is going to be the case all the way up to December 25th. First, let me go over dates, then let me go over substance, and then let me go over MSC, and let me go over you. First, dates. I think it's really tight. I think it's really tight. Schumer is talking again about getting this passed in the Senate the week of Christmas. That's not this week. It's not next week. It's the week after. I think it's really tight. You need 1 day on the Senate floor. You need 2 days for vote-a-rama. And then if you're sending this back to Nancy because you have a change, which he does have a change, he says in the letter he has changes, then she needs a day. She usually needs 2 days for voting. That's 4 days. 4 days puts you right in the middle of Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Are these legislators working on Christmas Day? I think last year, I'm trying to remember, I think last year for second stimulus, I think they worked on Christmas Eve earlier in the day. But I don't see them working on the 25th. So I think we're getting really tight with our schedule. I think it can be done, but I think it's really tight. Next, the Senate parliamentarian, it's going to be a real dicey situation because she is going to remove at least 1 provision. Maybe she's going to remove 3 provisions. If she removes the provisions, then there's cash freed up. Where's the cash going to go? You don't decide that in 10 seconds. It takes like some meetings among the senators to decide where this money is going. Then the vote. The vote is a very fluid situation at the moment. Joe Manchin this week, said, you leave the paid leave in there, I'm voting against the recon. It's going down. There's a lot of people that are still worried the recon may fail. The recon may never have enough Democratic votes and may fail. Do I think that's a situation? No, I don't really think that's a situation. Finally, the ability to gather news updates of where the drafts are. Impossible at the moment. Because of this new lookout by the senators, they're not going to come out and have press releases say, hi, my name is Ron Wyden. I just added 3 provisions to the recon yesterday, and here they are. And I think Joe Manchin is going to bother me. They're not going to do that anymore. So they're not going to give us updates. And that makes it problematic for us because we will not know what's in the recon. We will not know what is in the recon until the 11th hour. We do know that everything that's in the House is staying in there unless the parliamentarian removes it. And those battlegrounds, of course, are immigration reform, paid leave, and SALT. We know that everything that's in the House is staying in there. But what else is going on top of that? Well, you've heard on this channel for the last 3 weeks, where Bernie and Ron Wyden and others say, best bill, but missing things across the board. Well, what are they missing? They're missing MSC. They're missing dental. They're missing vision. They're missing the Medicare eligibility age. And that's just Bernie. Then we have everything from, and well, MSC is more than Bernie, but that's just Bernie's 3 items from Medicare. Then we have all the Ron Wyden items. So there's a lot of things missing. Are they in there now? Don't know. Are they in there tomorrow? Don't know. Will they be going in there? Don't know. We won't know to the 11th hour. Now, let me go over mindset with you. Money is money. I love the viewers this week. I love the viewers last week who listened to my recording, who understood they had bills to pay, understood they can get this money, and went out and got $5,000. Countless viewers, 5,000, 6,000 is the average number in the last 2 weeks. It's cash. Who cares what it's called? It's $5,000, $6,000 of cash. It's a lot of money. It changes your December when you get $5,000 to $6,000 of cash. Who cares what it's called? When you look at an MSC, that's more than potentially an MSC, or a little bit around the price of an MSC. That's more than MSC. When you're looking at the 4 stimulus recon, there's a lot of checks in there. It's at least $15,000, maybe upwards of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Who cares what it's called? If it's cash, it's cash. You get it in your hand. There will always be someone who says, I don't want anything. I only want one thing. Don't be untruthful to yourself. That's just not a way to look at things. You don't want only one thing except cash. You want cash. You want cash that goes in your hands. Who cares what it's called? It's cash. You don't care if it's called cash for this or cash for that. It's cash. And so I want you to focus on is if there's cash available, get the cash. 3rd stimulus, there's cash available. 4th stimulus, there's a ton of cash available. And if they can put more cash in that recon for stimulus, then they put the more cash in the recon. Don't be focused on words and think, I only want one word. No. Focus on the cash. Money is money. If you got $5,000 in your hand, you don't really care what it's called, so long as it's in your hand, so long as it's a lot of cash. And if it's $12,000, it's even better. If it's $15,000, it's even better. And if it's $20,000, it's even better. This recon has the biggest payout of this channel since the start. It's bigger than 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and nearly, in some cases, combined. It's that much money in the recon. It's going to be a very, very busy 2 weeks, so stay with me a lot. First is we have the December 15th meeting with the Federal Reserve, which is very critical to you, this economy. You need to stay with me on top of that. We have this week and next week where where Chuck is getting the language done. And we're going to potentially hear the Senate parliamentarian rule next week. And then we have the voting week. So we have 3 weeks of nonstop. And with that, I think we deserve a treat, don't you? I think we deserve a treat. What is that treat? A doubleheader. First, Street and Stimulus, normally on this channel at 7 o'clock, will now feature an encore performance of Holidays LALATE. You've been liking that. You liked it last night. It's coming back to this channel. So every night you have Evenings LALATE, then Evenings Countdown, and then Street and Stimulus, the Holiday LALATE edition. And then tonight, finally, tonight, the return of 3 of your beloved characters in one show for the first time ever. It's a limited engagement holiday special, and it's over a series of few episodes. It's called Casino. For the first time ever, we see Blaine 66, and tonight I'm going to show you a preview of him right now in this recording. Where is Blaine 66 working on Casino? Well, we first met him when he was a Tier 2 operator at SBA. Remember, he was at Tier 2, which was the 2nd level. Then the next time we saw Blaine 6, he was working at Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's office. So tonight, where is he working? Let's take a look. Did you talk to Pat Toomey about this? Because this may violate the parliamentarian rules. I think there's an anti-lobster provision. What? Don't get angry about it. It's the bird bath. The bird bath. The bird bath will wash the lobsters away because birds eat lobsters. You know that, right? You don't. Oh, okay. The Senate parliamentarian, she's doing a bird bath. And the bird bath removes the provisions from the recon. And if you have a provision in there that violates it, like a lobster provision, the birds come and eat it. At least that's what I mean, I like to eat. Can you hurry up? I'm about to eat my lunch. But that is Blaine 66. He is back. His hairstyle has been upgraded, obviously. Blade 66. Needless to say, I did show recording that video on the food, so I definitely need to go back to ribs. So Blade 66 Sirloin and Shafina Light coming back tonight. Where does he work? If you have a sense of where Blaine 66 has a new job, jump in the live chat. Let's see if you got it right and find out tonight at 8 o'clock tonight in the time slot where Sirloin is usually located. Calcine will reveal to you where Blade 66 is now employed. Spoiler alert, he's not employed with Nancy. And with that, I want you brother's incredible family, so hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Evening's Countdown. Then we have the wonderful new Holidays LALATE in-stream stimulus. And then 8 o'clock is Calcino in its new time slot coming to this channel. Meantime, coming to this channel in just a few days is the other new show, Decentraland, in which I'll jump into a digital universe and show you how to make big sums of money. A lot of new shows coming to this channel, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.